You can lift the stone without being ready for the snake that's revealed.
Dr. Niles Bohr wanted to say that you can always explore something dangerous out of curiosity without being ready for the possible destructive result, just like a fucking atomic bomb.
Algebra's like sheet music. The important thing isn't can you read music, it's can you hear it.
Instrumental or vocal musics are at first written down on a sheet of paper in the form of lyrics or notes, and then you just don't read them and memorize them, but you also incorporate your personal emotions, instruments, and voices to express the music in a beautiful artistic manner. Just like that, the formulas of mathematics should not be printed or just written on just a piece of paper. It should be incorporated in real life by practicing them and executing the formulas to invent new formulas and scientific theories. So he just asked Oppenheimer to practice math in daily scientific activities to feed his curiosity.
God doesn't play dice.
Precisely.
This was a famous quote from Dr. Albert Einstein. Now, have you ever gone to the depth of this quote? Let me explain it to you in the simplest language possible. It is widely believed by the majority of the physicists around the world that the behavior of a single particle is very unpredictable, and anything can happen to the particle or energy wave. On the other hand, Dr. Albert Einstein believes that the behavior of a particle is always predictable, and his opinion is very unpopular across the world. The interesting fact is that neither the popular opinion nor the unpopular opinion has been scientifically proven to be 100% accurate until now, and there was a famous debate on this theory which ended up with no certain outcome. Now, you might be thinking, if the behavior of a single particle is generally considered unpredictable, how was the damage range of the Trinity, Little Boy, and Fat Man calculated so precisely in the movie? The damage range and intensity should never be calculated so precisely, as the behavior of a particle is unpredictable, right? Now, the behavior of a single particle might be unpredictable, but the behavior of a lot of particles combined together is highly predictable, and that's why Oppenheimer managed to calculate how much chain reaction would happen and how wide the nuclear damage proximity would be.
You know, I've always wondered why you didn't involve him in the Manhattan Project.
Why did Dr. Oppenheimer not take Albert Einstein in the Manhattan Project? Because Einstein never wanted to build something as destructive as a nuclear weapon. Also, Einstein was a German involved in the left-wing political parties based on communism, which was considered to be a major threat to the USA. Furthermore, there was a major difference in the interpretation on how a particle behaves between Oppenheimer and Albert Einstein. And all of these things together convinced Oppenheimer enough to never ask Albert Einstein to join the Manhattan Project.
I have access to your security file. I've read it.
You're not worried.
Why would I be worried after everything you've done for your country?
Admiral Strauss read the security files of Oppenheimer, and he had no problem with his past history, but he instantly got problems with Oppenheimer with the same security file when he was publicly humiliated before the AEC voting on the exports of isotopes. Now that is called a next-level vindictiveness.
I'd say isotopes are less useful than electronic components, but more useful than a sandwich.
Why was Dr. Oppenheimer silent on the exports of isotopes to the European countries in 1949? He knew from the very beginning that the European countries could use isotopes for developing nuclear weapons, and yet he remained silent on this matter. Dr. Oppenheimer believed that the European countries will not dare to develop nuclear weapons after witnessing the horrible results from Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Isotopes can be used for making nuclear reactors for producing electricity, which is a very good use of nuclear power, and Dr. Oppenheimer never wanted to deprive the European countries of this valuable substance. This AEC hearing, by the way, took place in 1954, but Lewis met Oppenheimer in 1947 for the first time. That means the enmity between Oppenheimer and Lewis began in 1947 through the misunderstanding among Albert Einstein, Lewis, and Oppenheimer.
The real world in which causality holds, but such speculations seem to us, to say it explicitly, fruitless.
The choice of words of Dr. Heisenberg was a testimony that he did not have an intense passion to learn more about quantum mechanics. He was not willing to embrace the new world quantum physics was willing to offer. His lack of an intense interest also caused him to make a mistake while developing the Nazi bomb. He used heavy water as a conductor instead of graphite.
He seemed more focused on heavy water.
As a moderator?
Yes, instead of graphite.
And now I have become death.
This quote is from Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 11 verse 32, where Lord Krishna took the form of Vishnu and told Arjuna that he is the manifestation of God, he is the creator, the preserver, and the destroyer of the entire cosmic world. In the context of the movie, we can say that Dr. Oppenheimer created the nuclear bomb, he could preserve the peaceful utilization of this technology, and he could also destroy the whole world with the same technology. So Dr. Oppenheimer over here is equal to the mythological Krishna.
Did he give you the name?
He did.
But not then, did he?
No.
No, in fact, it was some months later, wasn't it?
If you have been confused on exactly whose name was confessed by Dr. Oppenheimer to General Groves in the aftermath, I will make everything crystal for your understanding. When Dr. Oppenheimer was asked for the name of the suspected intermediary, he was supposed to be naming Dr. Chevalier, but for the sake of friendship, he gave the name of Eltington, who was one of the leading members of the FAECT. He just wanted to keep Dr. Chevalier out of the trouble, which did not work out for so long.
I'm beginning to think Borden was holding the knife for you.
If you have been confused about this conversation, I will clarify everything right now. Borden was given with some papers and evidences to write down an accusation letter against Dr. Oppenheimer. He sent that accusation letter to the FBI. The FBI sent the letter back to Colonel Nichols, who was one of the leading members of the AEC that time. Nichols drafted an official warrant against Dr. Oppenheimer, and then Admiral Strauss tried his best to set Oppenheimer up. Here the knife was actually that accusation letter which was made by Lieutenant Colonel Borden, and after making the knife, Borden gave it back to Admiral Strauss with the help of the FBI.
Somebody with your past doesn't want to be seen downplaying the importance of security from our communist allies.
Did you feel confused when you heard it for the first time? General Groves wanted to say that Dr. Oppenheimer was not careful enough with the security conduct of the USA, being involved with the members of multiple communist organizations.
When we detonate an atomic device, we might start a chain reaction that destroys the world.
Was that really true? Definitely not. The chain reaction from many nuclear atoms together can be calculated even if the behavior of a single nuclear atom is unpredictable, which means one nuclear atom or particle might show an unpredictable behavior leading to uncertain results, but many nuclear atoms together will show a predictable behavior leading to certain results. That's why the chain reaction from nuclear energy release can be calculated to be very precise. It was proven in the movie.
We have to make the politicians understand this isn't a new weapon. It's a new world.
The invention of an atomic bomb is equal to the invention of a new world, because with the help of quantum mechanics, you can develop more destructive and lethal weapons in the future, just like the hydrogen bomb.
How do we justify using this weapon on human beings?
Oppenheimer was cited to the development of an atomic weapon, believing that no country on Earth will ever dare to use or develop atomic weapons after seeing the atrocious effects on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
They won't fear it until they understand it, and they won't understand it until they've used it.
His desire and curiosity of lifting the stone without knowing whether a snake will come out of it or something else was another reason behind that.
And the world is not prepared.
You could lift the stone without being ready for the snake that's revealed.
Furthermore, his decisions were highly controlled by General Groves, various diplomats, and other politicians until the final delivery of the atomic bombs.
You and Einstein with your letter to Roosevelt saying we could build a bomb.
I guess Germany.
That's not how weapons manufacture works, Sillard.
So, he was kinda stuck between his interpersonal and interpersonal conflict. But later, Oppenheimer realized that humans are arrogant and ignorant enough to using everything they have to bow someone down, even at the cost of the innocents. It's more like two people are drowned in petrol and one has 3 matchboxes and the other has 5.
When did your strong moral convictions develop with respect to the hydrogen bomb?
When it became clear to me that we would tend to use any weapon we had. We thought we might start a chain reaction that would destroy the entire world.
Now, the chain reaction to the atmosphere after neutron bombardment is actually not possible because the possibility of an unpredictable nuclear chain reaction is actually near zero. So, he was perhaps talking about the chain reaction of an arms race all over the world where everyone will be eager to develop their own nuclear weapons or something bigger than that. Look at Pakistan, Jordan, Israel, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and even some terrorist organizations. They all have a dream of building and developing nuclear weapons. Some of them already possess nuclear weapons.
I tried to poison my tutor.
Did you hate him?
I liked him very much.
You just needed to get laid.
There is a small mistake with the statement of Dr. Oppenheimer. According to history, Dr. Patrick Blackett was hated by Dr. Oppenheimer because of his demanding behavior during the lab work, and Oppenheimer really sucked at it. Also, he sent a letter to one of his friends describing that he did not like the lab work his tutor Patrick used to give him. And slowly, Oppenheimer started to hate his tutor and one day poisoned his apple before leaving the science lab.
Don't alienate the only people in the world that understand what you do.
Exactly what was Jean Tatlock trying to say to Oppenheimer. She was asking Dr. Oppenheimer to not alienate the Communist Party members who possibly can understand his intellectual ideology, because one day he might need the help of the Communist Party members. To be honest, Dr. Oppenheimer not joining the Communist Party and most notably marrying Kitty, who is an ex-communist, triggered a response in Jean Tatlock. Even Dr. Oppenheimer did not have a strong attraction for the Communist Party. He called their ideology a dogma, meaning an authoritative point of view towards something that cannot be questioned.
Why limit yourself to one dogma.
I would also love to make it crystal that Dr. Oppenheimer was a member of the FAECT, which was not a communist party, and yet the union was full of a lot of communist members. Sometimes I really hate Christopher Nolan for his messed up articulation of the movie and his disgusting habit of filling the entire script with a bunch of confusing dialogues and screenplays. Jesus Christ.